Share screen. All right, there we go. All right, first things first, I'd like to introduce our athletic staff. Of course, I'm the athletic director. Coach Dorian Lane is last year came on board as our assistant athletic director. Coach Lane, feel free to unmute and introduce yourself, please.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to thank everyone for being able to be here today, and Eric's going to give you a good show, I promise. And this is my second year, as he said, at St. Joe's, and I've enjoyed my time here. It's so great to be in a community that really cares, and we as an athletic department, we really want to take care of your children. And I'm also a part of the Achievement Center that we have at school. So if your kids need anything in regards to their education, just feel free to email me or Erica. And I just thank you for giving us the opportunity to better your children.
All right, my assistant, Becky Van Evera, she couldn't be here tonight. They've actually got a state swim coaches association meeting tonight, talking about how they're going to try to run meets this year. So she sends her best. I will try to do her slide as best as possible, but will not do it as well as her, I can promise. All right, here are the ground rules I gave you earlier about that we're recording this. And if you have any questions, please just click on the chat at the bottom of the screen, and you could type it in there, do it public so everybody can see. That'll help with, avoiding duplicate questions and that kind of thing. All right. So this year, our certified athletic trainer is Katie Stovall. She is with Stedman Hawkins through the Prisma Health. I know those of you that have been at the school, we've had, in my time, a Kate and two Katies. So if you see a female in the training room, if you say, hey, Katie or Kate, you got a pretty good chance of being right. But Katie's done a great job for us. Really excited to have her on for the full school year this year. As you can see, the information on the screen, her email, her cell phone, please take those down, take note of those. She wants you to communicate to her. Katie, I know you're on the call. If you want to chime in and say hi and introduce yourself so everybody can see.
I'm Katie, everybody. I am a certified athletic trainer. I'm not your student trainer, although we do have about 5 of those this year, which is awesome. Also, speaking of, if spring season, if you want to be a student athletic trainer, you want your kid to get into athletic training, let me know, because everyone wants to just do football and we have other sports. Do you want me to go to the next? Okay. Oh.
Well, go ahead. You can do it.
Keith Lonergan is our team physician. So basically, if we have any issues where I need to refer you to a doctor, if anything kind of goes over my head, we need an MD. Keith Lonergan, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. I've met him a few times. He's a really nice guy. He will help us out. We'll refer your athlete to him, and he will follow up with me. We're in good communications.
He is also a St. Joe's parent as well, which has been really great working with Keith.
Very nice guy.
All right, let me do this one real quick. Sorry. So I know a lot of you have COVID questions, okay? Most of which I probably don't have the answer to, but we're working through this summer. We've got CDC, South Carolina DHEC guidelines. The South Carolina High School League has put out guidelines for our high school team. teams. So we are combing through those guidelines. We're staying in step with those guidelines, and we've been on top of them all summer and have been successfully implementing them for our fall sports so far. And that's what we continue to do, right? Our goal, as always, is to keep our kids and our coaches safe. And in this case, you know, we're trying to do it while at the same time, you know, trying to live our lives as best we can. Trying to be responsible, take precautions. If you'd like to see some of the South Carolina High School League guidelines, they're on their website. It's SJCS.org. Starting Monday, we will phase into phase 1.5, which will allow for a little bit bigger groups for fall sports and the sharing of a ball within a group are the major changes. COVID's going to affect several of our kind of normal operations. It's completely blown up our schedules. So bear with us. If you're new to the school, don't judge us by this year's schedule making and practice planning, because it's been very difficult, and we've changed it at least twice to this point. So bear with our coaches. Transportation, overnight travel, all of these things are going to look a little different this year because of COVID. So again, we're going to follow guidelines as it pertains to transportation and using our buses. It's to be honest, it's probably going to require, I'll say us as parents, because I have a daughter coming to St. Joe's this year, to have to probably transport our kids to some of the games, maybe a little more than we'd like. All right, now go ahead, Katie.
Okay, so just these are a few key points that people usually have questions about. So not my concussion policy, the concussion policy, it's a 5-day protocol. So your athlete gets, first of all, report your concussions, report if you get hit, report if you feel off. Anyway, if you're unfamiliar with this kind of feeling, something feels off, just let me know. He said before, I love communication. Even if it's not a huge deal, I would love to just know, just have that kid in the back of my mind to keep an eye on. So the concussion policy, say your child gets a concussion, they have symptoms, they will fill out a symptom sheet, 24 symptoms, and until that symptom sheet is all zeros, we won't start the concussion protocol, basically. And then from that day, 24 hours after your student athlete reports 0 symptoms, then we will move to stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If any time during those 5 days of the protocol, your athlete gets any of those symptoms back, even if we're running hill sprints and they get a little lightheaded, it's unfortunate, but we will start back at day 1 in 24 hours. It's to keep your child safe. It's just, there's just a lot of unknown with concussion injuries, and we like to be extra safe. Going off on that, if you would like to send your student athlete to the ER, or to a doctor, or to a friend that's a nurse to get them checked out, that's fine. I'm comfortable with that. But once you go over me, I can't do anything about like the diagnosis, the treatment. So whatever that person, that RN, that doctor reports, what their diagnosis is, what the treatment is, I have to follow them. So if they tell your kid that they have to sit out for 3 weeks, I can't do anything about it. If you come to me before, I can do my diagnosis. If we need to go to that point, then I can refer you again to keep on again to one of the team physicians with Prisma. They're great. Lightning policy. I'm sure you guys, if you've been familiar with sports, with athletics before, the lightning policy. So if there's a lightning strike within 10 miles, we're going inside. It's a 30-minute delay. If in any time during that 30 minutes there's another lightning strike, we add on another 30 minutes. We use the WeatherBug app, Lightning Tracker. You're more than welcome to download those apps if you'd like. one of St. Joseph's training room rules is if you do send your athlete to me, or the nurse sends them to me, a teacher sends them to me, they do need to come with somebody else. Nobody comes alone. Just a safety liability thing there. And once again, just to emphasize, just please, please, please communicate with me. It wouldn't hurt. So I know your child's name. I can keep them in the back of my mind. Hey, they have asthma. It's not too bad, but it gets bad during this time when this is happening. I will have that in my head. I'll have notes in my phone. I will have notes with me just to keep an eye on your child. I love kids. I love working with kids, and so I'm here. So I'm excited to be here. My first football season first fall season with you guys. I think that's it. If you have any questions, please, on that other slide, my phone number, email, I will reply to you. If not 24 hours, 12 hours, I'm pretty good at responding. And that's it.
All right, thanks, Katie.
Yep.
All right, next up, Bob Castello came to us. Last year was his first full year with us. Those of you that have been around the program realize how great of a key to getting communications out during his time here. He has been writing stories on the website, getting results out. Bob has been nothing but great to work with. For those of you who may not know, he worked for the Greenville News for a long time and was a recognized reporter for them. So we're just blessed and very fortunate to have Bob, and it's really been my pleasure to be able to work with him. So Bob, I know you're on here. Unmute and have at it.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Am I good? You hear me? Okay, well, good evening, everybody. I'm Bob, and this is my second full year. It's great to be with you all again this evening. As Eric said, I spent 35 years in all as a sports writer. The last 20, I was in charge of the high school sports coverage at the Greenville News. So I'm in charge of all communication. I'm the director of communication, so I'm in charge of all communications at St. Joseph's. But as Eric likes to put it, this is my wheelhouse. So I can't lie. I was sports for a long time, and I enjoy this. So it's really great to be with you all. And I think we had a really good year this past year, at least in as long as we were able to. We had a lot of success with people keeping me updated. The fall and the winter, we did really well, and that's the most important thing, as Eric pointed out. If everybody can do a good job of getting results to me, I can share them with everybody else. What's most important is getting a point person, team mom, team dad, team parent, somebody being that person who can get results to me from each team. And if you can just reach out to me early in the season, let me know that you'll be the contact. If you email me, get me your phone number, whatever it takes. I'm pretty easy to reach, and I'd be glad to get you my phone number, and whatever it takes. Emailing is great. If you'd like to text me results, whatever works. And if you reach out to me early on, and if you're wondering, hey, what do I need to do? What do you need to receive from me? I'll be glad to work with you and let you know in the particular sports what I'd be looking for. The more the merrier, but we like to have certain limitations just for the very fact that we got a lot of, especially in the fall, got a lot of sports coming in. Spring will be that way too. We didn't get to that much this year, but especially in the fall and the spring, there's just a ton of sports. So we like to get as much as we can, but with the realization that there's a ton of stuff coming in. So we like to get those highlights so that we can get as much in there as we can from all the sports. so that's the games themselves. You like to get the results on there, but next thing there, any other items, as you say, story ideas, records, awards, any newsworthy items from the sports that are coming up, let me know those as well. We like to get out there, share the good news, anything at all that we can get out there, because I'm skipping one ahead there, but because we're putting everything out on social media as well, whether it be, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, we just want to get as much on there as we can to keep everybody posted with the good news at the school. And then I also have on there that it's especially important.
2.5 hours.
Somebody probably needs to mute there, I think. Especially when it gets to the playoffs and the postseason, that's always especially important, because we want everybody to know, because we have a lot of success. That's the good news. So we want everybody to know how our teams are doing, because it's always great, having covered it for so many years. It's always great. There's a snowball of interest when we get to the postseason, the playoffs and everything, and everybody likes to jump on board and follow along. So especially when it gets to that point in the year, it's really important to let me know how the teams are doing, so that we can, teams, individuals, whatever, just so we can pass that word along to everybody. Really, really key then. As I say, I'm doing the social media as well. So if you have something you want to get out there, please let me know. I think that's really about all. Like I say, I'm very reachable, any way, anyhow. Let me know if you've got something going on. Feel free to stop by. If you're in the building, say hello. And like I say, the most important thing is, if you could please get to me early and let me know, hey, I'd be glad to be the contact for whatever the sport is, and let me know, and I'll work with you right away. And I look forward to working with you all. And I appreciate the opportunity. Good to talk to you all tonight.
Thanks a lot, Bob.
Sure
Appreciate
thing.
your help. And again, if you have a question for Bob, I'd say probably email him. I'm not sure if he's going to stick around for the rest of the presentation, but his email would be bcastello@sjcatholicschool.org, like the rest of us. So thanks again, Bob. Appreciate you. All right, next, for those of you that might be new or might not realize, here's our league information. Our high school, we play in the South Carolina High School League, the SCHSL. We are one of only 4 private schools in that league. So we're one of just a few. The other 215 schools in the league are either public schools or charter schools. I believe there's around 29 or 30 of those are charter schools. Our league is broken into 5 classifications based on size of enrollment. We just went through a reclassification between last year and this year, and we remained at the class 2A level. Which would be the second smallest level. All right, 5A would be like Dorman and Burns and schools like that. They're in 5A. Our last year we offered 49 sports teams. Different individual teams across 14 different sports. 49 teams, I'm sure maybe all of you didn't realize that. It's quite a bit. There's a lot of preparation that goes into each of those, both by the athletic staff and the coaches, and a tremendous amount of help from our parent volunteers as well. We had last year, we had a little increase over the year before. Last year we had 762 team members across those 49 teams, right? So that would count a multi-sport athlete. If they played 2 sports, you would count as 2 team members, right? Or if you played 3 sports, you'd count as 3 in that number, right? But in a school that I believe last year had around 640 students, 762 is a very impressive number. Our high school, we play in Class 2A, right? But this year we're in a new region, which is Region 2, right? Which includes Greer Middle College Charter, Blacksburg High School, Landrum High School, Brazier Middle College, Chesney High School, and then Legion Collegiate is in our, out of Rock Hill, is in our region only for the sport of football. Our middle school plays in the Carolina Middle School Conference. We joined that league again 2 years ago. It's been a tremendous asset to us. It's been a great league, giving us an opportunity to play our more local, kind of traditional rival, private and charter schools in the area. It helps with travel. We do have to go to Spartanburg occasionally, but most of those schools are right here, conveniently located in Greenville. All right, and there's the list of schools. Southside Christian joined the CMSC this year, this coming year, so they're new to that league. Last year's accomplishments. So there's an award called the Carlisle Cup that's awarded in the high school league, the Coaches Association. We've won that. This year they didn't award it because of COVID, because we didn't have a spring season. We were on pace and we're ahead and on pace to win that cup again this year. That would have been our seventh cup in the last 8 years. And so you're basically awarded points for state championships, runners up, how far you go into the playoffs in our varsity sports. And St. Joe's has done a tremendous job as an entire athletic program to be able to win those cups. Last year we had 2 state championships in the fall seasons. Our volleyball girls won their 9th state championship in a row, in a tremendous match against Oceanside Collegiate. And our boys swim team brought home the state championship down in Columbia last fall. It was a lot of fun to watch as well. We had 2 runners up last year. Our girls swim had a tremendous year. And I believe that was their first runner up and highest place in the state. If Becky was here, she's our swim coach, my assistant, she would get me right there if I was wrong. But they had a tremendous year last year. And then our girls cross country also placed 2nd in the state and had a great year for us. All right, so our athletic program, our basis is to provide educationally based athletics, right? So what does that mean, right? So when our students participate, we want them to learn more than just how to play their sports, right? We want athletics to be just a piece of their experience here at St. Joe's, and that's just one way that they can learn on the field or on the court. Okay. Can you all see these arrows on the screen? I don't know where they're coming from. All right. We want, all right, somebody's messing with my screen here. All right, we'll press on here. Ben, can you see that like yellow mark on the screen? Or anybody?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, I don't know how that's happening.
It's not bothering us, so I think we can see everything we need to see.
Okay. All right. All right. One of the lessons, you know, that we want to teach our athletes is for respect for the game, right? Respect for the rules of the game, the officials, the opposing team, right? I would, you know, demand of our coaches that we're trying to do this, right? We're not going to try to bend the rules, gain an advantage by cheating, you know, it's very important for our athletes to learn the right way to compete. We want our athletes to learn, right, those things that are maybe difficult to learn in the classroom, right? You know, Coach Ayers, my mentor, Mike Ayers at Wofford, you know, he would always tell us that football field or the athletic arena, right, you're able to learn some life lessons that are difficult to do in a classroom setting, right? That's where athletics can be an extension of the classroom and give us an opportunity to teach our athletes some things that are difficult or impossible to do, say, during a math class. We want to teach our athletes how to set goals and how to attain those goals, how to lead. You know, we want to teach our older students, especially, you know, how to be good leaders, right? That's going to help them as they go through life and try to find jobs as they get out of college, right? Having those leadership skills are key to their success, right? We also want to teach them how to follow, right? So you're not always the leader, right? You know, so how do you take someone else's lead and do that successfully to be a key component of any team? How to sacrifice for the good of the team, right? You know, maybe it means I don't get as many points on the basketball court because I'm a guy who's making the key pass, right? Or I'm playing good defense, you know, in order for us to win the game, and it doesn't go into the stat book. Those are the kind of things that you can learn, how to sacrifice yourself for the good of others. It's an important lesson. How to fight through and overcome adversity. You're going to get knocked down in sports. You're not going to win every game. You know, there's going to be times, you know, that your team takes a beating, and, you know, learning how to overcome that is just a tremendous life lesson. Maybe one of the best available on the athletic field. How to win with class, which is really important. You know, being respectful to your opponents, because on the flip side of that, you know, you're not going to win every game, and you got to learn how to lose with grace, how to you know, be complimentary of your opponent, knowing that they got the best of you that day. That's a good skill. All right, I was a physics and math guy in college, like graphs and charts. This is one I put together, you know, that I think that this chart is a tremendous lesson that us as coaches can instill on our kids. So you'll see over here, we've got the amount of work put into something, right? And I've called this the chance of success graph, right? So the more work that you put in is gonna directly increase your chance of success, okay? And I would love to be able to teach every student that comes through St. Joe's, or that I have an opportunity to influence, that, you know, when you're willing to work hard for something, you're going to increase your chance of success. You're not going to guarantee success, but you're going to increase the chance of success. So sitting on the couch doing nothing, right, is not going to help you be a better player. It's not going to help you be a better student. It's not going to help you be a better father or mother or employee, right? So this graph, you know, if this is the only thing that I could teach one of our students, you know, I could live with that. So just wanted to share that. All right, so this is my assistant Becky's slide. So this has to do with the medical forms that are required. If you have an athlete, student athlete playing a sport this year, I hope you know what Planet HS is already, okay? On our website under the athletic link, it's been in news and notes every time it's been published, and will be for the rest of the year. There's a site that we purchase access to, that we log all of our medical forms, right? This is the same system that Greenville County uses. I believe Spartanburg County. It's a very popular site. I'm sure it's used all over the country. But Planet HS, like Planet High School, Planet HS is the website. And this is where you will log all of these forms. So what it has allowed us to do is to not have to have any paper forms, which is a good thing for form safety. We don't have to, you know, store physicals and, you know, some sensitive documents that's going to this website, you know, and they have, you know, it's a secure website. You have to have a log, you know, our particular login from our school, which only I think a couple of us do, me and Becky, I think. So, and then the coaches have a read-only version to where they can access these forms, you know, in an emergency situation. But these are the forms that are required. Okay. There's the pre-participation physical, which most doctors' offices will have that, but it's on our website. It was new this year. It gave the doctors, and this is a nationally produced form by the National Federation of High School Sports. They gave the doctors a few more options this year to partially clear student athletes. All right, so that form is there on our website. You can print it off, take it to your doctor. They'll do the physical and upload it, and then you make sure they sign it and date it, and then you'll upload that form into the Planet HS website. There's a medical history form, which you can print off a paper copy, but it's actually easier and better just to do the online version in Planet HS. It has like radio, you know, buttons that you click yes or no, and the key and most common mistake with the history form is if you click yes that you have one of the conditions, you must explain it at the bottom of the form. Otherwise, usually it's Becky, she'll have to go in and decline your form, and then she'll send you reasons why. But that's the most common mistake, is not explaining a condition. For instance, if you click yes, my kid has had a broken bone, at the bottom you've got to provide an explanation just so we know what's going on. You've got to put in a copy of the birth certificate. It has to be the legit birth certificate. It can't be some other version or like a hospital form or something like that. You need the official, you know, an uploaded copy of the official state birth certificate. There is an educational, a concussion educational form, right? An acknowledgement that you have to sign online. There's a Stedman Hawkins permission to treat form, right? That you just basically have to sign electronically as well. All right, and all these forms, they must be uploaded into Planet HS before your students can try out, work out in the summer, right? Or before they can try out or practice this fall. Okay. I've had to do this. I don't like to, but you know, if kids show up for tryouts and they don't have their forms, you know, I've either got to send them home. They can't do their tryout. They got to sit there and watch. You know, so that's why it's very important to get them done, get them loaded. You'll know when they're done. You can see in your account that they're completed, right? A lot of them have to have me or Becky have to approve them, right? But you can see all that in your Planet HS account, okay? If you have any questions about this, you will want to contact Becky, okay? I'm the second line of defense. Becky is far better at answering these questions than I am. Just to let you know, sometimes we'll have questions about physicals, right? So, you know, this was interesting. You know, I thought when I found out initially, you know, that there is nothing legally that says you have to have a physical every year. But the South Carolina High School League has mandated, right, that you must have a physical every year, okay? Most insurance companies will give you one physical a year, right? You just kind of got to get on, if you can get it in the right place in the calendar, you know, like during April, right? That would be the best place to start having your yearly physicals, okay? Because starting on April 1st, that physical will be acceptable to be used for the next school year. So if you'd have had one April 1st, 2020, that would be good for the entire 2020-21 school year. You know, so that's why to get on that cycle is a good thing. All right, you can fill these forms out in April, and your child will be good for the whole 2021 school year. Okay, so same thing if you fill them out tonight, they'll be good all year. Okay. All right, tryouts. We do have a few teams that we have to make cuts. Usually our volleyball team, our basketball teams, our traditional sports that have to make cuts. It really just depends on the number of student athletes that come out and attempt to be on the team. Certain teams, it's helpful and important to only have a certain number of athletes before, you know, a coach or a practice, you know, might get overwhelmed with too many bodies. All right. So with tryouts, you'll notice in that email that I sent you all with this Zoom info, we've updated our tryout list. Again, with COVID, that all got completely changed. And for right now, that's what it is. There is a chance that it could get changed again. The high school league is going to meet on August 10th, in which time we should have a better understanding of how the fall is going to look. There is a small chance that they could scramble up the sports season and play some spring sports in the fall and move football to the winter. Not real sure what's going to happen there, but I will keep you all updated as soon as I know. So the tryout information I sent you is accurate, and it's on our athletic tab on our web page as well. And we will keep it updated there, and I will email you all, you know, if there's major changes. And then with tryouts, you know, I ask our coaches to explain the tryout process, you know, how long it's going to be, you know, when they will make the cuts, just to be, you know, transparent and upfront, you know, with the kids and with the parents. We have a time-honored tradition at St. Joseph's for our senior send-off. Usually it's our last home game, not always in each sports season. It's a great evening to honor those kids that have put in all that hard work. You know, the game itself, it's just key to mention, is not part of the ceremony. Okay, so what that means is just because it's senior send-off or senior night doesn't necessarily mean, you know, that your athlete is going to start that night or play a lot, you know, if they haven't been doing that during the year. Okay, some coaches, you know, are able to make that happen, some aren't, but just want to be upfront with that. Okay, and talking about why, you know, a lot of times these are late in the year, could be a pivotal pivotal game on who's going to make the playoffs and that kind of thing. All right, transportation. So this slide is based off pre-COVID because I don't know what it's going to necessarily look like this fall. So just keep that in mind. You know, we do run buses for many of our trips, especially our high school sports. Middle school, not as much, just because of volume. We have one 48 passenger bus. We have two 14 passenger minibuses, and we have a 6 passenger van that we use, you know, and then there's a driver not included in those numbers. So, you know, that's all the transportation we have. And certain times of the year, you know, even if we wanted to transport everybody, there's no way we could do it. So, you know, we try to do the best we can, especially with the trips to Spartanburg or Blacksburg. But you know, oftentimes we're not able to accommodate everybody. So we appreciate all of you parents that are able to get our athletes to the games. All right, I do ask our coaches, usually barring a schedule change, I like to work with the coaches and get that transportation calendar done at the beginning of the season, right? So we'll say, you know, okay, I got you on a bus for this game, you know, so in most cases, the coaches should be able to let you know ahead of time, you know, hey, we need you to get your kids to this game or that game or whatever the case may be. So ask the coaches for that information. You know, we do recommend if we do transport, you know, your son or daughter to games that are right on the bus, back with the team. Some coaches are more, you know, it can be a team building, riding together in a win or a loss. I do understand, like myself, lives in Spartanburg. I know we have people that live in Gaffney and Anderson. So, you know, I understand sometimes it may be a lot more convenient, you know, to take your child home. And I would ask our coaches, you know, to work with that, because I understand those long commutes. All right. And like I said, transportation, I'm not real sure exactly what it's going to look like this year. We're going to follow guidelines, but I'm going to wait closer to the games and see exactly what we're playing, and then we'll try to get that information out. Sportsmanship, we want our coaches, our players, our fans to be a good reflection of St. Joe's. Most times, many times, this might be, for a sporting event, might be the only time that people will set foot on St. Joseph's campus, and we realize that. And I think it's important for all of us as coaches, players, and fans, you know, to understand that we're making an impression, you know, of the greater Greenville area. And, you know, we certainly want to make a great impression. You know, like this says, you know, one unruly person or bad situation, you know, can leave a negative impact, you know, that could be spread around the community. And likewise, you know, if we are a great community, which I know we are, and we leave positive impressions, you know, that's going to spread as well. Boy, we really enjoyed going over to St. Joe's. They were really friendly. You know, that's the type of atmosphere we would all expect. Officials, you know, there's a very big shortage of officials in South Carolina, especially for certain sports. So, you know, we want to treat our officials with respect, parents, coaches, players. I can promise you, coaching football, that these officials make plenty of mistakes. I can promise you that. I've seen it, right? And you know, but we all want to treat them well, thank them for what they do. You know, if you have an opportunity to thank the officials, you know, because without them, we don't have games for most sports. So let's do our best even when they might not make the right call, let's do our best to make them feel welcome when they're at St. Joe's or on road games. Right, so sportsmanship, each level of participant here has a role to play. Okay, coaches need to set the right examples for everyone. Teach sportsmanship to the players, during practice. Right, demand that's how we would act. Okay, the athletes, we want to drive home to them about what we talked about earlier, about how they're representing a bigger cause than just themselves. They represent their school, they represent their family, right? So we want to always remind and teach them that. And then the fans, right? We've got a great community, but when we're playing a rival game and everybody's heated, let's remember, that we all want to be a positive influence and a positive image. We've had a couple of incidents the last couple of years, one each year, where we've had, one of our girls' basketball game, one of the opposing players, came and took a swing at our kids on the bench, right? And so we talked about, how to react in that situation. And this year, Wade Hampton, a game against them in lacrosse, right? One of their players, knocked our goalie down and started pummeling him, right? Got ejected, out of the game and all that, So how we as coaches and students react, and fans, right, react in those situations is paramount to being a good example, a good image, but also for what my biggest concern and as an athletic director is always making sure that we are in control of the situation from a safety factor. And when incidents like that happen, I'm a big guy, but I'm only one guy, and we'll have cops at some of our games, but when those type incidents break out, we could have a very serious and bad situation on our hands. So that's where we all play a part in diffusing situations as coaches, players, and fans. And I just ask you all for help. If you see one of those situations arising, come get me, come get Coach Lane, Dorian Lane, come get Coach Wheeler. He helps me sometimes. Go get Mr. Kaiser or Dr. Jones. Anybody like that, grab an administrator, say, hey, I think you need to take a look, because we all play a piece in keeping these games safe. All right, we are extremely blessed to have great families and great coaches. I'm be a fool not to think that we will have an occasional instance arise that needs to be diffused or talked about, okay? With our student athletes or with parents, right? And this is our method of handling those situations, okay? I call it a CEO model, right? So let's say it's basketball, okay? So the varsity head coach, right, is responsible, for those programs underneath, right? So JV, middle school, 9th grade. Last year we had a boys 9th grade team. That varsity head coach would be the CEO of that program, okay? Their responsibility, to oversee, right? This doesn't travel to every sport. Some sports we only have one level, okay? So as a parent or an athlete, if you have a concern, reach out and contact and be in communication with the coach, okay? And really, the way that I think it works best and a way that we help our students become accountable and be able to communicate with adults, right, is for them to advocate for themselves initially, right? So, if your son or daughter has an issue, whatever it may be, okay, please have them reach out to their head coach first, right? Try to talk it through, figure out, get to the bottom of what that issue, whatever it may be, okay? If that doesn't fix the problem, right, then as a parent, you can contact the coach, okay, of that sport, okay? If that doesn't fix it or address the issue, you know, parent, you can go to the CEO, right? So let's say it's middle school basketball, right? If it doesn't work with Coach Sims, all right, with the student or the parent, then you could go to Coach Asanesi, right? And if all that doesn't work, right, you know, get in touch with me and we'll get to the bottom of it, okay? Things that are worth discussing, okay? Just some examples, okay? You know, treatment of your child, ways that your student could improve in whatever sport, right? Behavior issues, okay? And more importantly, things that should not be discussed in those meetings, right? This is, you know, it's my job to make sure our coaches are handling these issues, okay? You know, not the student necessarily or the parents, you know, playing time, play calling, strategy, or talking about other students, okay? These are all issues in those meetings, you know, that really shouldn't come to the table, okay? You know, it's very uncomfortable for a coach to deal with those situations, and it really puts them in a bad situation. All right, always make an appointment. You know, please never approach a coach with a problem right after the game, right? Please take 24 hours, let everybody cool down, you know, and then address the issues, okay? You know, hey, if you want to tell coach, great game, awesome job, you know, all that, go right ahead, right? But any issues, problems, disappointments, you know, let's talk about it the next day, okay? Let cooler heads prevail, okay? It's just so much better way to handle those issues. You know, sports are a huge time commitment, okay? Academics are a huge time commitment, right? And so what I would tell a student athlete is, you know, you're a student first. And then if you decide to play a sport, you know, being an athlete is a close second to that, right? So, you know, you have to get your academic work done. And then if you commit to a team, right, then you're a teammate, okay? So, you know, we understand that there will be academic things that come up that the student needs to address, okay? But what we really want athletes to understand is what they're getting into when they join that team. So make sure as a parent and as a student, you understand what the expectations are going to be when that season begins, when it ends, what's the practice schedule approximately. You know, coaches try to get that out, but we all have to understand that occasionally things have to change depending on weather or cancellations. This year with COVID, who knows what schedules are going to look like for sure. But know what you're getting into on the front end, so the expectation is known. You know, because once you're selected for a team, especially in those sports where we have to make cuts, if you're picked for the team and then you don't hold up your end of the bargain, now somebody else who wanted that spot, you know, now is not able to play, and your student athlete is missing practices or missing games, you know, which is not fair to both sides. If an athlete begins on a team in a season, let's say, I don't know, let's say cross country in the fall, say it's a young man, and decides that it's too much and that has to quit the team for whatever reason, okay? So our policy would be that athlete cannot play another fall sport that year, So you can't quit cross country in the middle of the year and then go try to join the swim team. Okay, that's just our policy, and it's a pretty popular policy across schools. Absence policy, you know, there's going to be things that come up like we talked about, extracurricular activities or things. Well, this slide's actually talking about school absence. So in order to participate in your extracurricular activities, you have to be present at least the last 4 class periods on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, which are our full schedules, and then the last 2 periods on Wednesday and Thursday, which are our 2 shortened class days. So that's the school policy, whether that extracurricular is sports, theater, you know, campus ministry, whatever it is, right? That's the policy for extracurriculars participation that day. All right, you have to finish the day. Okay, you can't leave early and still go practice. All right, so this was what I was going to earlier. So academics, you know, is our top priority. You know, but not at the complete expense of your responsibilities as a teammate, right? So what's that mean, right? You're expected to meet your academic requirements, and you want to try to do that without impacting your job as a teammate, right? So if I could go get study help during the day instead of during practice time, right? And I choose to do it during practice time instead of during the day, that's not a good choice as a teammate, right? Now, if the only choice I have is to do it during practice, then that's the choice that we have to make because academics come first, right? But what we want our athletes to do is make the best decisions that they can, and then clearly and as soon as possible, right, bring those conflicts to their coach. Right, so the coach knows, so it's not 5 minutes before practice, oh, coach, I can't be there, right, because of X, Y, or Z, okay? You know, again, accountability, learning how to be a good teammate, learning how to follow, right, how to follow the coach, right? So, so certainly understand what I'm saying, academics are first, right? But, you know, do realize, you know, that it is important to communicate and try to structure to be the best teammate that you could be. All right, transfer students. So any student that is new to St. Joe's this year, who is an 8th through 12th grade, right? 6th and 7th, you got it made. You are not a transfer student, okay, by the high school league rules. Right, 8th through 12th, if you are new to St. Joe's, you are a transfer student, okay? Well, I'm just coming over from St. Mary. I'm not a transfer. Yes, you are, okay? So please, my next paragraph here, I need you to reach out to me, right? Send me an email. A lot of you already have done this, okay? A lot of you helped us with this big lawsuit that we were able to win the first round. You know, send me an email. Hey, Johnny Smith is planning to play soccer. We came from St. Mary's, and then I'll strike up the conversation with any other information that I need. Okay, but it's important because I've got to have this turned in to make your student eligible, right? If we were to play an ineligible athlete, you know, that could have serious implications for the school. We could be fined. We could lose games. We could forfeit wins, right? It has not happened, I think, in St. Joe's history, but I don't want it to start this year. Okay, so please let us know. Please email me, and I'll work with you to get that taken care of. Even if you're a spring athlete, go ahead and let me know now, please. Multi-sport athletes, we encourage this. Okay, you know, at a small school like ours, 2A, you know, we completely count to field those 49 teams, we completely count on multi-sport athletes and have quite a few of them, okay? We cannot have the success that we have. We will not win Carlisle Cups, right? If we don't have kids play multiple sports, all right? So my stance and our stance is, you know, I would not want our coach to discourage that. If a kid wants to play 2 or 3 sports, none of our coaches should be discouraging that ability, okay? If they are, please let me know, okay? There are tons of pressure outside of school, right? Youth clubs, AAU, travel ball, all this, right? There's all kinds of pressure outside of St. Joe's for kids to focus in on one sport. I do not want it to come from inside, right? We'll fight the outside pressures. You know, the studies prove that that's not what's best for our kids. It's not best physically or mentally for them to specialize and play one sport all year, right? They focus on certain muscle groupings, right? And they just wear those groups out. By being a multi-sport athlete, you use different muscle groups. It helps, it actually will help you, the studies show, help you to eliminate or help stay away from injury because you're using those different muscle groups playing different sports. Okay, that's proven data. Okay, so if you feel that this is going on, please let me know. Technology policy, you know, I give this same slide to our coaches, just as our students. You know, really want to use smart, you know, be smart, use, you know, common sense when posting on social media. You know, I ask you to please talk to your sons and daughters about the importance and how easily, you know, a little slip up can be made, right? That can become worldwide. Okay. You put one tweet, you put some Facebook message or Instagram or, you know, TikTok, whatever it is, okay, you know, you can be an instant celebrity for the wrong things, okay? So when I was at Wofford, our sports information guy had a whole PowerPoint presentation where he showed really dumb mistakes that college athletes had made on their social media. And it was comical because of some of the bad decisions. So, you know, please have that talk with your children, you know, and have them make good decisions. Our athletic, our school website, I'm sure you are all familiar with. In the top right corner of our new website, you know, there's a link for the athletic calendar. Usually that's the best place to get updates for games, times, locations, right? Right now it's worthless because we haven't put it up because I'm not real sure what the schedules are going to be. But once we get cranked up and know what's exactly going on, that athletic calendar on our website is the best tool if you have a question about schedule. I go to that calendar, me and Becky and I, to make changes. That's the first place we make them, okay? So if you have a question about a time, a date, a game, a location, right, go there first, and that's probably the most up-to-date place, okay, in most cases. Our head coach's contact information on our school website. If you go to athletics, you'll find a coach's directory. You can see our sports listed as well by season, okay? And, you know, so if you have a question, what sports are played in what season, like I said earlier, because of COVID, that might change this year. This is just a very interesting year, as you all know. All right, our athletic program, you know, one of the best things and quickest things I learned at St. Joe's is we cannot field 49 teams and make all these things happen without you all, the great parents. We have the best set of team parents probably in the country, that help our head coaches tremendously. We would like for every team to have a team parent, right? Mom, dad, whatever it is, because they're pivotal in getting out information to the teams, getting volunteers to work games when needed, concession stand, admissions tables, parking, you name it. We got it, like there, you can see to run a varsity football game, it requires 43 volunteers, chain gang, PA guy, parking, all that stuff. So, we certainly could not run our events without your help. So I ask, that you please get involved, scorekeepers, statisticians, clock operator, PA, whatever it is, please get involved. Please help us, because we just can't do it without you. We have a booster club board, which we'll talk about in a second. Our booster club is unbelievably supportive and helpful, and they help fund a lot of our big projects. So I ask, that you please consider joining the booster club and helping the booster club as a board member or a volunteer. To give you an idea, our tuition that we pay, goes to help fund our coaches' salaries. When we transport, it funds those transportation costs, officials, field maintenance, paint, fertilizer, all that stuff, equipment costs, right, etc. Okay, but there inevitably are big projects or a project maybe that's unbudgeted, right? And that's where our booster club comes in, right? With membership fees, donations, concessions. We have our big golf tournament coming up a week from tomorrow. That this is the second year, and we're out of spots, right? So I mean, what an outpouring of support for our athletic programs and for our school. And the booster club helps, not just our revenue producing sports, it helps every sport. Our booster club has given money through this golf tournament and through other projects that is benefiting every single sport we have at St. Joe's. All right, so I am going to turn it over. Here's the list of our booster club board members for this year. Blair Bailey was unavailable this evening. I would like to thank one of our newer St. Joe's parents, Ben Renfro. He is going to speak a few minutes about the booster club. Really appreciate Ben is one of these people that's just been here 1 year, going on his second year, and got actively involved already, and just really appreciate that. So Ben, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. I'm just going to talk to everybody real briefly about the Booster Club. I have two sons that attend St. Joe's. I have a rising 6th grader and a rising 9th grader. I'm also on the board, as you can see from this list. From a parent's perspective, I can't say enough great things about St. Joe's. It's just been an incredible school for our family. And we've really enjoyed the part of the school that involves being a student athlete. I've never been a part of an organization or a community that takes so much pride in the student athlete experience. And that's something that we had heard so many good things about before we came to St. Joe's. And now that we've been here, we realize that how amazing it is. And I can't say enough good things about Coach Nash and Coach Lane and Becky and all the great things that they're doing to lead our student athletic programs. And it's just an incredible time to be a part of Knights athletics. As Coach Nash mentioned earlier, there's 49 teams across 14 different sports at St. Joe's right now, from 6th grade through varsity. Over 70% of the St. Joe's students participate in at least one sport, which I think is an incredible number. The Knights have won 21 state championships since 2015. Is that right, Coach Nash? right? Close. And as he mentioned earlier, we're the winner of 4 consecutive Carlisle Cups, and winners of 6 of the last 7, I believe, prior to this COVID hitting our community. And these things don't happen without the hard work and generosity of our families, and the Booster Club helps spearhead and organize many of those efforts. The direction of the Booster Club is essentially to direct financial support to St. Joe's athletics programs, which itself is an extension of the overall mission of the school, which is to form the minds, hearts, and souls of our athletes in the image of Christ. The Booster Club provides 23% of the total athletic program budget for all sports at St. Joe's. And Coach Nash, if you'll flip over to the slides, we'll talk about some of the things that our Booster Club has funded in the past couple of years, which include a new gym. You able to do that, Coach Nash?
Is that not what you want?
Yep, can you move that? There you go.
Okay, the pictures, there you go.
So the Booster Club was responsible for providing a new gym, sideline chairs, and booster seats. If you'll keep going, new dumbbells for our weight room, new weight room flooring, a new athletic storage space, a new football scoreboard, a new baseball scoreboard, funding for the Coaches Appreciation Dinner, and there's so many other things listed in this PowerPoint. If you can go to the next slide, Coach. Yep. All right. As you can see, the Booster Club is a vital part of the St. Joe's experience, and your support is critical to the success of the school and its athletic program. As Coach Nash mentioned earlier, there's a ton of ways to get involved from a volunteer standpoint, but equally as important to become a member of the Booster Club. The goal every year is 100% participation from our families. And as you look, if you look on the right side of that slide, there's a number of different membership levels and benefits. Kelly Gillespie is in charge of all things membership. And if you have questions for her, I think she's on this Zoom meeting, but you can get in touch with Kelly or reach out to any member of the board or Coach Nash. As you can see, we have blue, silver, gold, platinum. There's a new alumni membership this year for our alumni. And each one of these different levels of membership come with its own set of perks. Our key tag sponsor this year is Sully's Steamers. And they've got some really cool things that you can use that key tag to at one of the Sully Steamers around the community and get some benefits and discounts at the restaurant. And these things are just really neat because if you're like me, you don't like to carry cash. You show up at a sporting event, you've got your key tag. You don't have to have cash to get into the game. So it's really, really a neat way for you to avoid having to carry cash if you're like I am. This gets you entry into games. The memberships can provide parking, and as you read through some of those membership levels, there's all kinds of perks and benefits that come along with being a part of our Booster Club. One of the new things that we're doing this year is we're going to have a Booster Club tailgate tent prior to all home football games, and there'll be a lot of information coming about that in the near future. But we hope you can join us for a fun and fellowship before each home football game. As Coach Nash mentioned, we have a big golf tournament that we've done every year for the last couple of years. I was able to be a part of that last year as a new enrollee, and looking forward to seeing that in its second year. And that does some really neat things for St. Joe's and raises a lot of money for our athletic program. I guess to sum all this up, the Booster Club needs you. We need your help and your commitment to carry on this incredible tradition of winning and providing young student athletes with a second to none athletic experience while attending St. Joseph. We can't thank you enough for all you do and that all that you'll continue to do in the future for St. Joe's. And if any of you have questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to me or any member of the board about the Booster Club.
Thank you, Ben. I really appreciate that. At this time, before we wrap up, if you open your chat feature, if you have any questions that you think the group might want to know, go ahead and send them my way, and I'll answer a few of those. Looks like somebody's already answered one for me. You probably noticed that email I sent, I think it was Tuesday. We have a school contract with Adidas for our athletic apparel. And because of that contract, I've been able to We've been able to get our community access to their new Adidas employee store, which is over on the frontage road, just south of our school on 85. It's 10 Quest Lane. So if you didn't go this winter, if you're new to the school, if you've never been to that store and you need new tennis shoes or something like that, go. You get half price. It's a really cool store. So we don't benefit from you going, but you know, it's more of a benefit to you all if you need school shoes for the kids or whatever the case may be. All right, so first question. Yeah, so not real sure, you know, what the spectator restrictions are going to look like. Right now, I think the high school league's trying to figure out, you know, to make sure we're going to have games. And then I imagine they'll start putting some rules out about that. I know the governor yesterday lifted the restrictions on big events, and I think it's 50% capacity or 250 people, whichever is less, I think somebody told me. So obviously 250 for most of our games would be fine, except maybe our football games, you know, so, but possibly that restriction will get lifted a little bit, or there'll be, you know, possible exceptions maybe that can be done. So there'll be more information. You know, I have thought about, Josh, I have thought about, you know, the streaming options, something to investigate. You know, we just kind of have to stay tuned on that one. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Well, we've covered a lot this evening. Okay. Well, again, I really appreciate y'all bearing with me this evening. I know this was a little different and a little, honestly, maybe a little impersonal. I don't really like it this way, but we're dealing with it. I miss being able to see y'all's faces. So thanks again for all that you've done. Thanks for entrusting your students to St. Joe's. You know, it's truly a pleasure, you know, to be able to work with each and every one of them. And I love seeing how athletics, you know, can help towards, you know, the school mission of forming the hearts, minds, and souls, you know, in the likeness of Christ. I really believe in our school mission, and you know, really believe, you know, that athletics plays a pivotal part in that. So if you have any other questions, you know, please feel free to email me, and stop by and see me anytime. You know, for now, you got to have a mask on if you do, but stop in, say hi, especially if you're new. And again, thanks for trusting your young students to us. So have a great evening. Go Knights, and let's have a great school year. And you know, if there's anything I can do to help you, please let me know. Thanks to each of you. Thanks, Ben, for your help, and any of the others on the call that spoke tonight. Thank you all, and have a good evening.